All right, folks, welcome. Let's get to some tapping here. This is an Abraham Hicks inspired tapping session. I'm a huge fan of Abraham Hicks. Her teachings, their teachings have been life-changing for me. So I thought about combining the teachings of Abraham with tapping. What better way to help reprogram the mind and create greatness? So let's get into it. Even though I tend to focus on the unwanted end of the stick, I focus on what I do not want. And I tend to do that quite a bit. I love, honor, and accept myself anyway. And I'm open to pivoting that perspective. Deep breath in. Let it go. And even though I've made a habit out of focusing on what I do not want, focusing on the unwanted end of the stick, I'm open to changing my perspective and starting to shift my view to the other end of the stick, the wanted end of the stick. I love, honor, and forgive myself anyway. Deep breath in. And just let that go. And even though I sometimes get stuck with what's wrong, stuck like a stick in the mud, and that's the end of the stick I focus on. The end of the stick that's buried in the mud. The end of the stick that cannot see the light of day, or the wanted end of the stick. I'm open to changing my perspective now, and I love and honor myself. One more deep breath in. And let it go. All right, let's go through the points. I've been focusing on what I do not want for a very long time. I tend to focus on the wrong end of the stick. I focus on what I don't want. I put a lot of energy and focus into it, thus creating more of what I do not want. I feel bad about something, or I see something I do not prefer. So what do? I get very focused in on it. I stew on it. I think about it. I dwell on it. Ruminate. I think of all the potential negative outcomes. I'm focused on what I don't want. And it doesn't feel very good. It's a pattern that's been running my mind, my body, and my entire life for decades. And I'm not here to beat myself up about it. In fact, just becoming aware of it is a slight shift in the right direction. And that's powerful. Even a small shift towards the wanted can bring more of that which I desire. And so right here, right now, I'm starting to pivot to the opposite end of the stick. The wanted. Back of the neck. And God knows it feels good to focus on what I want. And if I focus on what I want with enough intention, with enough power, then I'm going to feel pretty good about it. And I'm going to attract more and more thoughts and feelings that align with that which I desire. That's pretty powerful. Now that I'm talking through this, I'm realizing just how powerful that is. If I flip the script on what I've been doing, just doing the opposite of what I've been doing, I can create a pretty magnificent life for myself. And all it takes is a simple shift in my attention, my thoughts, my focus. And those patterns will attract more and more of the same. Hence, focusing on what I do want. And that feels pretty darn good. I don't have to force clarity. I don't have to jump to the opposite end of the stick, so to speak, but just a slight shift in my thoughts will result in a slight shift in my feelings. And just looking for the next best thought is all it takes. Just looking for something simple that feels pretty good. That'll slow down the momentum of focusing on what I do not want and starting to shift it towards what I do want. Not by force, not instantly, but spending as little as 17 seconds on a feel-good, positive thought. Even something as simple as being grateful for a beautiful view out the window, grateful for a hug from a relative or a friend, grateful for that fuzzy, warm feeling of taking a deep breath. And just focusing on those little things that bring me joy, that put a smile on my face. Gratitude, appreciation. And I keep focusing on that. 17 seconds. 17 seconds. That's all it takes. It'll attract more and more of those feel-good thoughts and feel-good emotions. That's powerful. And now that I'm talking through it, I could feel the emotional shift happening already. And God knows that when I feel the emotional shift, I'm aligning with my inner being. My inner being that's already aligned with my desires. And those emotions that feel good are my guidance system, that I'm on the right track. Shifting to the opposite end of the stick. Feeling good about it. Having more and more positive, happy, powerful, joyful thoughts. That's true inner power. And I choose to align myself on the opposite end of the stick now. I just need to reach a slightly better feeling, one step at a time, and then do it again and again. One positive thought after another, focusing on what I want, having those feel-good feelings, and allowing that pattern to instill itself into my mind, body, and spirit, so that that end of the stick, the want it end of the stick, becomes my default operating mode. So I choose to release all of these old habits, all of these old thought patterns that have been running my life for decades. These old patterns of negative thoughts, negative beliefs, and focusing on what I don't want. I choose to release that now. I choose to release it from every fiber of my being, all of the energy centers of my existence. I choose to prune those neural networks that no longer serve me. I choose to instill powerfully positive thought patterns, beliefs, and corresponding emotions, focusing on what I do want and having a habit of doing it every day. I choose to do that now. This is how alignment happens. This is how manifestation comes. This is how I align with my true inner being. This is true power, confidence, happiness, health, and wealth. So be it, it is true. In body, mind, heart, and spirit. All right, cover your heart. Deep breath in. Just hold it for a moment and let it go. Now just go and close your eyes. Take a few nice, slow, deep breaths, and I want you to envision that version of yourself that feels good just the way you feel now, being 10 times bolder than you have been, focusing on all that you desire, feeling good about it, having what you want, doing what you want, being who you truly are, your authentic you, with a big smile on your face, and feeling the joy of doing that and being grateful for that version of yourself that you've stepped into right now. Just let it linger there for a moment. And smile while you're doing it because it feels good. That version of yourself is the real self. Yeah, that's right. All right. Go ahead and create greatness. See you on the next one.